guys, welcome back. We are looking at Wanted Dead or Alive by Bon Jovi. So we'll jump right into the intro here. So first thing to note about the intros, we've got this open string 4 drone happening over this series of intervals of a sixth. So it's minor sixth and major sixth. That crossing from string 3 to string 1, that interval are major sixth and minor sixth. Good intervals to know on the guitar. You see those in songs quite a bit. So I'm just going to walk you through the pattern first, and then we'll talk about the actual picking in the right hand. So I'll call it out from string 3 to string 1. I'll say those fret numbers. So string 3, fret 14, finger 2, and fret 13 on string 1, finger 1. And then I'm going to use my middle finger to slide down to fret 12, and then put finger 3 on string 1, fret 12. And then I'm going to slide that whole shape down 2 frets to 10 and 10. And then I'm going to slide my middle finger down 1 fret to fret 9 on string 3, and then put finger 1 down on fret 8, string 1. Then I'm going to slide my middle finger down to string 3, fret 5, and finger 3 jumps on string 1, fret 5. And then middle finger slides again, string 3, fret 4, finger 1 jumps on string 1, fret 3, and then we take that same shape down 2 frets to 2 and 1. So that middle finger is my guide finger the whole way, right? So I have 2, 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, 2, 1, 2, 1. And those fret numbers again: 14, 13, 12, 12, 10, 10, 9, 8, 5, 5, 4, 3, and 2, 1. Okay, so before every one of those, except for the very end, we're going to be hitting the 4th string. So it's going to be this picking string pattern is going to be 4, 3, 1, 3. And that's what we're going to be doing over and over again. The picking pattern in the right hand is going to be, if you come up with something else that works, totally fine. I'll give you 2 options. I'll tell you what I'm doing and then another option. So I'm going down, down, up, down. Down, down, up, down. I find that to be a little bit more efficient, even though directionally it may not make the most sense. But my hand relaxes inside of that pattern a lot more, as opposed to down, up, just strict alternate picking, or even down, down, up, up. There's a series of them that you could come up with, but probably alternate picking. That always seems to cut off some notes, or what I'm doing: down, down, up, down. And just keep your motions very small, whatever you do. That's always going to be the goal with picking and with guitar in general. So on open 14, 13, down, down, up, down, and then open 12, 12, open 10, 10, open 9, 8, open 5, 5, open 4, 3, and then here we're not going to hit the open 4th string again. We're going to strike that 4th fret on string 3 and slide down to the 2nd fret and pick that 1st fret on string 1. So all of that together. Right here, double up on string 3. So you'll find it, I think, once you get the left hand moving in the pattern, you have that memorized and you're starting to see each next move, you'll find it relatively easy to pick it slow. but it's important to pick a pattern for the right hand that is going to allow you to move as smoothly and quickly as possible. So, you know, you could just play around with the open strings 4-3 and 1, 4-3, 1-3, 4-3, 1-3, without worrying about the left hand, just to figure out what is going to be the best option for you, instead of learning it one way just to get the music in your fingers, but then not be able to play it fast enough because you didn't choose a smart picking pattern, right? So, it's you know, in some cases, it's building the muscle memory, but you don't want to build bad muscle memory because it's really hard to undo that. So, play through it a couple times here. A little bit faster. So that's going to come back several times in the song, and it's a great little picking exercise, and something that you could turn into many different things outside of this specific song, because you'll use those intervals of minor 6 and major 6 on the guitar quite a bit. You could use them for coming up with a chord riff or for improvisation. So, you know, it's lots of opportunities there. Okay, so once you get out of that, we're going to grab basically a D sus2 chord here, where I'm going to have open D, string 4, string 3 fret 2 with finger 1, string 2 fret 3 with finger 3, and open E. So I'm just going to set my fingers up in that position and then move around the rest of this riff. So we have that's open 5 twice, string 5 fret 3 with a bend, finger 2 here, and then open 4, fret 3 on string 4 with a bend, and then open 4. And then around this chord shape that we already have with our fingers 1 and 3, we're going to hit high E, open, and then string 2 twice, and then string 3 once. So all of that together is, and then you're going to repeat it. After the third time, you're going to pick open A, go to the 3rd fret of string 5. The way I play it is I collapse this finger to string 4 fret 3, and then a D major chord. So all of that, starting from after the main intro here, all that together, and then we'll put the whole thing together. Okay, I'm just going to go once through the 6th into that, okay? Get into my chord. Pretty iconic acoustic guitar riff. So really fun to play. Take your time with it, piece it together, and just really think about that idea of making smart choices for both hands, but we're specifically talking about the right hand with that intro. Okay, so now let's take a look at the verse. I'll play through it once and then I'll walk you through each measure. So starting on a D chord here. Okay, so it's very repetitive, only a few chords really. We've got a D major, open 4, and 2 on string 3, 3 on string 2, 2 on string 1. C add 9 from string 5 is 3, 2, open, 3, 3. Then we just bump fingers 1 and 2 up to string 6 and 5 here, G chord. 3, 2, open, open, 3, 3. And the only other chord we're going to have is an F major chord. The way I'm going to play this is just going to be as a triad here. String 4 fret 3, string 3 fret 2, and string 2 fret 1. I'll touch on that in a little bit more detail in a second here, because there's a lot of variation with that little riff, but we'll dig into it a little bit more. Okay, so measure 1 is all on a D chord with a little riff on top. So sounds like this. So all we have happening there, if you want to think about it as single notes, and what we're hearing is fret 2, 2 again, 2 again, and then 3, 2, string 3, or string 2 fret 3, sorry. Open 1, string 1 fret 2. There's that little kind of lick is happening on top of that chord. While we're holding that D chord and strumming it. So I strum the D chord, down twice and then up, and then I'm going to add my pinky onto string 1 fret 3, pull off, pick string 2 of the D chord, and then string 1 open, hammer on with the middle finger back to fret 2. So one thing I'll say is don't be too concerned about when you are strumming or not strumming the chord. You don't have to only strum the chord in the first 2 beats and then make sure you're only playing those individual notes. It can happen a number of ways, and it's going to sound good regardless. We do want these strings ringing out, supporting that riff. I could do it that way. I could go ahead and single out the individual notes. Either way, it's going to sound good, and you can vary it up as you play. It comes around a bunch. Then we jump to our C add 9 chord. So for the C, it's going to be down, down, up, rake. And with the rake, I'm going to use the heel of my hand to fall into the strings prior to the pick, and then the pick follows. So we've got this one motion here. All right, so down, down, up, rake. And then we jump to a G chord. Down on the G, and then up, down, up. So the C add 9 and the G together. And then we end with a little G riff here, which we're going to pick string 5 open, hammer onto fret 2, string 4 open, string 3 open. So that whole measure by itself. That measure is going to repeat. You play that exact same thing. Then we get to the last measure of the verse, which is going to be a G to an F chord and then a D chord. So I'll show you what I'm doing each time. I'm just going to play string 4 open, string 3 open, and string 2 fret 3. Technically that's a G5 chord, but it's just part of the G chord, and what I'm aiming for is this resolution from string 2 fret 3 to string 2 fret 1 and the F chord. I'm just strumming strings 4, 3, 2 both times, and then I get to my D chord and I put that same little riff that we were playing around with slightly altered rhythm. I'll play it all together so you can hear it. But so that is strings 4, 3, 2. I just have my third finger there on string 2 fret 3 for the G chord. F, fret 3 on string 4, fret 2 on string 3, fret 1 on string 2, D chord with a little lick. So that measure by itself. Okay, I'll put the whole verse together. I'll play it one slowly and then a little bit faster, and then we'll talk about that whole G to F thing that I was mentioning. So, from the beginning of the verse, D chord. C add 9, G. C add 9. Just a little bit faster. And then the chorus is exactly the same as those last two bars of the verse. C add 9, break, G, F, and D. That's pretty much the whole tune, and then you're just listening for what parts are coming up and plugging them in and playing. Okay, so what I wanted to mention about that G to F bit, and really several chunks of the tune, even the little D riff there, he's not playing it the exact same way every time. And I see this happen with a lot of my students where they get hung up on, oh, well, that's not the exact same notes that they played in that riff, and then it changes up in this next time it comes around, and oh, that's not exactly what they played. That's not all necessarily mapped out. They're just, they know the sound that they're going for, and they know what the chords are, and then they're playing around with those chords, right? So I would say get one riff down like I'm showing you, and then you'll be able to play around. Understanding the harmony and the chords on the neck and the rhythm related to those is the more important thing, and then you'll be able to improvise ideas around that as well. Don't get hung up on every single note that is being played. Because it wasn't so strategically composed like that. You know, that would be my argument at least. It's just feeling the groove and knowing what you want that sound to be and coming up with different licks. So anyways, when you're going from G to F, it could be that you strum a full G chord and a full F chord. It could be that you just pick the open 4 string and then go to string 4 fret 3, a note in the G chord, a note in the F chord. It could be 2 combinations of that, 2 strings together. That was string 5 fret 2, string 4 open, and then fret 3 on strings 5 and 4. I'm just grabbing notes inside of these chords without having to go to the full chord shape, okay? So it's these little single note riffs or dyads. I don't like to see people get hung up on note specific things unless it's something that warrants that, right? If we're talking about a melody and we're playing different notes over a specific melody, obviously that's not what we're going to want. But this is, there is variability to this, and it's good to understand that and to use your ear to pick up on those things, and then just let it enhance your ability on the guitar to understand the language of music and how it functions on this instrument specifically. Anyways, I'll stop rambling about that. So have fun with this, guys. Really all you got to do is, if you can get that intro down, that's going to be the toughest part. And then getting the verse in. If you get the verse in, then you already have the chorus, because the last two measures of the verse are exactly the same as the chorus. Have fun with it, guys. Let me know if you have any questions. See you in the next video. Thanks.